Hello, everybody. Welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I'm TheOutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm cheaping you.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And we're on a new show today. What are we on, everybody?
Jojo.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yes, there's an old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, an OVA series from both 1993 and 2000, which covered the entirety of the Stardust Crusaders arc in 13 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what did we all think about these? I have not... I've watched JoJo, the new one, here and there. Haven't really watched the whole thing as of this point. So you guys might be more expert opinion on this because you guys have. So what did you guys think?
So far I'm enjoying it. I mean, I got to keep in mind when it was made and, the limitations it may have had, but I thought the first two episodes were pretty straightforward adaptations. It was when we got to episode 3 when I noticed a lot of differences in comparison to the manga and the new show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing because I know the part 3 Stardust Crusaders is it's 50 episodes or so.
Yeah, it's 48 episodes, and basically David Production, the people that made the new show, they took the first half of the show, which was the 2000s OVA, and made it 24 episodes. Mm-hmm. And then they made the second half, the Cairo arc, 24 episodes.
Okay. And we should probably go into the plot to make sure that people know what all happened in these episodes. And then we can maybe do some compare and contrast of like what this series did, what the other series did, and kind of take a look at all that. So it starts out with Jonathan Joestar, who I'm not used to being blonde, but
Joseph Joestar.
Joseph Joestar shows up in Japan to get his grandson Jotaro Kujo out of jail, and Jotaro, he went to jail or was in holding because he got into a fight with a bunch of gang members, and he now refuses to leave the jail because he's possessed by an evil spirit that just kind of does stuff. It's not really clear what his problem with the spirit is, but he thinks it's dangerous and he needs to figure out what's going on before he's willing to leave. And his grandpa Joe is trying to convince him to get out of there and come home, and he says Helen a lot. I don't like the dub in this very much. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. What did you guys end up watching?
I watched the first episode dubbed, but then when I heard Kakyoin, which we'll get to later, when I heard his dub, I immediately switched over to the sub. I mean, no offense, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to switch over myself.
I mean, me personally, I was kind of doing other things while I was watching it, since I do already sort of know the plot. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, okay, I've seen basically this entire set of episodes. Like, this will be like my third time watching this story part, because I have seen basically the first part of Stardust Crusaders. Like, the last part that I did watch was when they're on their way to Cairo. I forget where I stopped, but I was like, I kind of know where I'm at. The voice acting isn't amazing. I don't mind some of their voices, but it's not fantastic.
Yeah.
I think part of it is just kind of like line reading and whatnot. That was just kind of
Yeah.
It was just so weird hearing Jotaro not be Matt Mercer.
Yeah, and same thing for me. I'm so used to the David Production sub that's become iconic over the years. So to hear other people voice them, it was just kind of like, whoa.
I didn't love Dio. I felt like he should have been a little bit more. I don't know if over the top is the thing. I think.
Who did they have voicing him? His voice is very familiar.
Yeah, everyone's a little familiar in this because I think to be clear, these 3 episodes were from the 2000s, which was the prequel of the 1993 OVAs that were all about the Cairo arc. I'm gonna look that up. You guys want to explain the plot a little bit more?
Oh.
Yeah, but we also forgot to mention too that each of these episodes had a prologue at the first 3 minutes of the episodes, which pretty much explains the ending of part one, Phantom Blood, where Dio
Oh yeah, it did.
Dio takes control of Jonathan Joestar and, well, cuts off his head and fuses with his body and lies in slumber for over 100 years.
Yeah. Oh god, they don't have the voice cast on here. Hang on. Yeah. Through some flashbacks, yeah, we do get to see that, and then we're kind of continuing to see what's going on, and we spend basically all of episode 1 in the jail cell trying to get him out, and why he should leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna continue explaining the plot.
Oh yeah, go.
Oh,
Go.
please go.
Oh, so Jotaro, he's in jail. His evil spirit is acting up, and then I guess you see it for the first time, like the hand, at least the hand at 1st of the evil spirit, quotation marks. And so he even tries to shoot himself, but the hand stops the bullet.
Yeah, it's pretty useful for an evil spirit.
Yeah, yeah. And so Joseph can't convince him to come out of the cell, and neither can Holly, his mom. So they're like, all right, Abdul, show him what you got. And if you don't know who Abdul is, he's Joseph Joestar's friend of 3 years that he met in Egypt.
Yeah.
And he's also a stand user, and so he uses his stand, Magician's Red, to kind of provoke Jotaro into using his stand and getting him to come out of the jail cell.
Which he does.
Yeah.
He does manage to do that. Kind of by tricking him a little bit, though he was willing to put him in the hospital to get him out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then I guess they go home and discuss what's been going on and what a stand is and all that. So we get a little bit of an exposition dump in episode 2. If you guys want to go into that, we can, but I did find the voice cast.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Do it.
Jotaro is played by a guy named, in the English dub, is played by a guy named Abi Hajitarkani, who I haven't been able to find anything else I recognize him from. Joseph is Michael Bennett, who has apparently been in a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying
I
to
recognize
see.
the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too, but I don't know from where.
Let me look this up. Hang on.
I'm on
also...
IMDb right now, trying
I
to
could
look
just
at
go
everything.
into Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'll just name these names, and you see if you can find them. Let's see here. I'm trying to find Dio. Where you at, Dio? Andrew Chaikin. He's been in some Star Wars video games. If you guys remember Sam and Max, he was Max.
Who did you say he was?
Who, Dio?
Yes.
Andrew Chaikin, Chaikin. I think he does a bunch of video game work. Some Back to the Future things. Dead Space. Seems like some Telltale games. Yeah, he just seems like one of those video game actors that has had a role in everything.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's see here. Outside of that, yeah, they go over the stands, and I feel like they definitely went into a lot more detail of the stands whenever they were in the other series because they had a little bit more time.
Right.
But they're like, oh, it's controlled by your willpower, and it has specific powers. And we find out, oh my God, Joseph Joestar also has a stand.
Yep.
One of the least
And-
powerful stands, but still.
Depending on
Yeah.
how you use it, the stand's power is not based on its power; it's how the user uses it.
I mean, I think it's pretty handy. Although
No,
it
it's
only
handy,
ever
just-
shows one picture.
Okay, true, but depending on how much you use that, you could predict the future, and if you could predict the future, you can work around things or something. But yeah, he smacks a Polaroid camera and can make pictures with it, with his Hermit Purple. And I think we discovered that whenever Dio's casket was taken out of the Atlantic because he had gotten into a fight with Joseph's grandfather, Jonathan Joestar, in what I believe was called Battle Tendencies.
No, Phantom Blood.
Oh no, that was
Phantom
Phantom
Blood.
Blood. Joseph is from Battle Tendencies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too many arcs.
Not at this point. There's only 3 arcs at this point. But yeah, so we get little flashes of that. We also find out he has a robot arm, which is pretty cool, but we don't know how unless we see Battle Tendencies, which we won't for a number of years.
Yeah.
We find out that, the Joestar's been fighting Dio for years. Really not, because they only fought him once and now he's back. And I guess, evil connection because he ripped off Jonathan Joestar's head and put his head on his body. So now they all got a birthmark with the Joestar thing.
Did we mention that the series is called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
It does get bizarre. The first 2 episodes are not super bizarre, but then after that it starts to get really bizarre. We'll get there. And we find out that everyone's stands started showing up. Other than Avdol, everyone's stands started showing up after Dio came back to life. So they're thinking it's connected to him, so they have to go find Dio and probably kill him to stop this from happening. And they wanted to stop it from happening because Holly, fuck. I think her voice actress was named Helen or something. And I've been looking at that IMDb cast. I might be wrong. Holly, who really does not have a character in this at all. She's just the crying mother, really. Holly also has a stand. Didn't get a name, but apparently it's killing her because not everybody can handle the power of a stand.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the amount of times that Joseph yells Holly in these 2 episodes, I'm getting flashbacks of watching Die Hard, which it's not a bad thing. I mean, I enjoy Die Hard, so.
And let's not forget that a member of the Crusaders is introduced in this episode, Kakyoin.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that dude. Wait, who was he voiced by? I just put it away. Did you say that you recognized him from somewhere? Because I think he also sounded familiar.
I mean, I recognize both him and Dio. But
Oh, I gotta look it up again.
But yeah, Jotaro goes back to school and he gets attacked by this
Can we
other
throw
high
out that he does not look like he's in school at all? He's being
No.
chased around by 3 high school girls who all look like they're 16, 17, high school age kind of thing. He looks like a 35-year-old man.
Canonically in Stardust Crusaders, Jotaro is 17.
Yeah, they mentioned that, and I don't believe them for a minute.
That's why that's why when David Production did their show and Jotaro likes to smoke, they had to censor out his smoking because technically it's underage in Japan. So,
Goodness gracious, he really is a delinquent.
I mean, for the fact that, and I don't know if it's just the fact of just his character design, but he looks so much older than what you would imagine.
Yeah, he's 6'4" and 300
neither-
pounds of solid muscle.
Neither him nor Kakyoin look like they should be in high school, but they're
Well, that's
both high
because,
school
in-
students.
that's because in JoJo's Part 1 through 3, the character design for the males was just, buff. Nothing but buff.
Just Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doug Boyd.
Yeah, he again looks like a guy who's been a ton of video games that someone's probably played at some point.
Alright. That's gonna keep bothering me.
I feel like that's just going to be a thing, because again, this is like these came out in like 1999 and 2000,
Yeah.
which 2000 was a little bit better, but like this was not exactly the golden age of dub voice acting.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Inuyasha's a testament to that.
Well, and the fact that
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop literally came out 2 years before.
Well, but it's I think it's the original cast from the '93 one, which was 5 years before Bebop.
True.
So I don't know if that is a contributing factor of any kind. But yeah, it might not be the voice actor, it might just be a direction thing. I don't know. But yeah, so we meet Kokuin, and he's he follows Dio, and he has a stand that has like, how many powers do stands have individually?
It all
Are there
depends.
some that just
I mean,
some that just have 1 or 8, or is it all how you use it? Is it all the same power, but you're just using it in different ways?
yes. The answer to all your questions is yes, because Araki
Okay.
Yeah.
makes things up as it goes along.
I
Yeah.
get that.
Araki, the author of the manga.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, Jotaro and Kakuin have honestly a pretty interesting fight. In the David production show, it's a lot more flashier, but like I think in this version, it's a lot more intense because Jotaro's trying to protect a high school girl from getting killed. So I think there was
Well,
a lot
after
more.
she's possessed by the stand, and then his stand, I guess, makes out with the other stand to bite him and pull him out of the girl's mouth. This is sounding way weirder if you haven't seen this, so I hope you've seen it. But then it turns into knife snakes and attacks, but then it can also shoot acid balls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a whole lot going on with this thing. I don't know where to go from here.
I mean, he
They just
beats
talked about
them.
getting inside a girl's mouth, snakes, and then acid balls.
He beats him and takes him back to his house.
Yeah,
and they find out that Dio placed a literal bug on his forehead, mind controlling him. And so
we should
A
point
flesh
out
bud.
we should point out one thing, that while fighting Kokuin, we got the first Aura of the series.
Yep. And boy,
So,
do
please
I
continue.
miss the David production. or
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little So yeah, they go back, and there's I think they call it a flesh bud on his
Yeah.
forehead. It's slowly eating his brain, and they still haven't explained, other than punching and I guess seeing things really, really up close, what Star Platinum's powers are. Star Platinum is Jotaro's stand, by the way. If you don't know, how do you not know at this point? And so they're using Star Platinum to kind of pull it out of him, while it's also trying to go inside of Jotaro's brain through his hands. And but it doesn't work because Jotaro's willpower, and he's just so steady, and he's like a surgeon, and he knows what he's doing, and he just pulls the thing out of Kokuin's brain, and then Avdol, magician, reds it to death with fire. And then Kokuin's all cool, and he's like, "Hey, why'd you help me?" He's like, "I don't know." Seemed like a good thing to do, I guess.
And he decides to join them on their journey to save Holly and kill Dio.
Yeah, and they're like, "Why would you want to do that?" He's like, "I don't know. Seems like a good idea, I guess." Like, that was a kind of a nice, like, callback turnaround thing. But yeah. Was that it for episode 3? Or did anything else happen? We're getting some shots
that
of,
was
like,
episode 2.
or 2, yeah.
That was yeah. I was
Um,
gonna say, I'm like, episode 3 is where we get to Polnareff.
And boy,
Yeah, yeah.
that's when
We
they...
haven't even talked about him yet.
Well, that's where
we
the...
should say, like, we do see some scenes of Dio contemplate or talking with, like, I guess his fortune teller person.
And Yaba.
Who
And
they
Yama,
really changed
wasn't
from the original
she-
source
Yeah,
material.
I thought
yeah,
I
she was
thought go ahead.
I was gonna say she was an old woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
She
I
was a
thought
short
that
old woman.
was what's her name? The other girl from the new series. What was her name? Mariah or something?
yeah.
Maria?
Yeah, Mariah.
The one who had
Mariah.
magnetic powers.
Yeah.
Mariah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuz correct me if I'm wrong, it looks a lot like her.
It does. It really does.
It didn't look like Mariah. I thought it looked like the other lady who falls in love with a whole horse.
I don't know who that is.
I thought she was kind of like a little bit of a mix of both now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, with the condensed timeline, I wouldn't be surprised if they started condensing some characters together.
The only reason why I say it's Anaiba is because in the manga, she's the chief lieutenant, the second in command to Dio, so that's why.
And she also has a son who is also a stand user, so...
Jay Guile.
Yeah, I remember they were kind of mentioning that a little bit, so yeah. So, moving into episode 3, where we actually hear her mention the son for our cliffhanger, but, you know, they're off on their way to Egypt because... in the last episode, Kokuin noticed, and no, wait, he didn't notice, but he picked up the phone for the Speedwagon Foundation, which, by the way, what is the Speedwagon Foundation? We have no idea because they haven't explained that.
Yeah.
That there was a bug in the picture that Star Platinum drew out and police sketched, and they figured out that it was a tsetse fly from Egypt in Cairo specifically. So they're going to Cairo, which is where they originally found out that Dio was, and he just never left. And they're just like, wow, why didn't we look around this place a little bit?
Yeah, and they also showed a flashback where Dio approached Adval and offered him a chance to work with them, but Adval's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yep. Well, he tried to rosebud him, fleshbud him.
That too.
Brain spider, the guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, brain spider.
But
Brain spider, or head crab, whatever you want to go with. Mini head crabs.
Wow.
But yeah, episode 3 is...
plenty of references, not a lot of JoJo references today.
No.
I mean, this whole video is a
Not at all.
JoJo reference, so...
I mean, I guess.
I guess we can reference other things then. Anyway, so they're on a plane to Cairo, but if you know anything about JoJo, planes don't work.
Especially
Ever.
if you're Joseph. Joseph and planes do not mix.
Yeah.
Did he have a lot more trouble with that in Battle Tendencies?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
'Cause you can tell the whole time he's sitting there, he's having like Nom flashbacks or something. Well, not Nom, but yeah, World War II. Because his arm is a Nazi arm. But yeah, so the plane goes down. Why did the plane go down again? Was it just bad luck, or was it Dio?
It was bad luck in this one, I think. In the anime,
This is an anime.
The newer anime, it's because of a stand user.
Okay, that makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're in the ocean now, which I thought this came much later, but I guess
Yeah,
this is
I was
where-
gonna say, I'm like, for some reason, I feel that Polnareff.
he was
either-
already with them before they got to the
he was
ship.
with them before they got to the boat in the newer series because I'm like, this seems out of place because I feel like this was more around episode 6 or 7.
Yeah,
I feel
this
like
is
this is
when
where
the
they're
show
starting to condense.
differentiates itself.
Yeah,
Because there was the little girl who was on the boat.
And-
Yeah. I'm like, where is she? I miss her.
I forgot about a little girl, so... Yeah, but yeah, they find a ship, ocean liner, tanker, cargo ship looking thing, but it's deserted. There's no one on the ship. They don't know what's going on. Is it just running by itself? It's a ghost ship of some kind, but there's an orangutan there who can read. Yeah, crazy. It's a bizarre adventure. But they find the dining hall, and inside they find a guy with a very bad French accent named Polnareff, who is a stand user, who has a fencing stand named Silver Chariot, who is gonna who decides to fight Avdol because he can sword away fire.
Yep.
That's the best summary I can get.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Avdol attacks him and kills him, but he doesn't kill him because he can teleport. And
it's not that.
Was he not teleporting?
No.
It's because Silver Chariot had armor on, and the armor exploded. Well, he shed the armor off, which made it look like he exploded and died.
Yeah, I remember that part. They don't explain how he's able to get across the room without anyone seeing him do it.
Oh, he has, like, duplicates.
Oh, right, they did do that.
Yeah, he can make duplicates of his stand.
I'm gonna say this. I had a bit of trouble watching some earlier David production JoJo because to me a lot of it felt like a teleplay because it was like, and by that I mean it went like total shonen where it was like something would happen, you would see it and understand what happened, but then everyone had to do a round trip of everyone re-explaining what happened. And
yeah, and JoJo's kind of like that early on.
yeah, I felt like maybe they could have used a little bit more of that here because some stuff is not totally clear about why it's happening. I feel like there just needs to be a balance. Anyway, that's just my little nitpick of both series, I suppose. But yeah, so they go back to fighting fire versus swords because he can stab fire. You guys feel free to jump in because I don't know how to explain this in decent ways.
Well, it's more like he can control the, like, fire with his, like, movement of his sword, kind of like using the, like, spinning of the blade to, like, kind of, like, warp the fire around it.
Mm-hmm.
So almost kind of like using the wind of, like, the sword.
Okay. And then he makes duplicates, and Avdol's like, I can shoot multiple fireballs, and then he burns him alive.
But he lets him live.
Did I skip something? Did I skip something between multiple fireballs and burning alive?
Well, actually, no.
I feel like I did.
He was gonna, you know, say, here, stab yourself and kill yourself quicker instead of burning to death, but...
No, I remember that. I was just thinking there was like another crucial fight moment between those two.
It comes right after
Maybe there
the
wasn't.
fight where the orangutan comes out, who I think his name is...
Well, wait, now we're skipping around too much.
No, because
I meant okay. There was the fight that I'm talking about, and he's like, Silver Chariot makes a bunch of copies, and then Avdol shoots all the copies because he can make multiple fireballs. Was there something between that and setting Polnareff on fire? Or did Polnareff directly be set on fire after that?
It was after.
Okay. Never mind. I'm not missing anything. Then tell him about Avdol's little ultimatum.
Yeah, he's slowly burning alive, and Adval gives him a knife and said, here, stab yourself and kill yourself quicker rather than burning to death. But then Polnareff's like, no, my pride's on the line. And then right at that moment, everyone else starts to sink in the ship as we find out the orangutan...
Well, we should say he lets him live,
yeah,
though.
well, he lets...
He blows out the fire. Because he's like, this guy's an honorable dude. He clearly is not working for Dio by mind control. He did something else.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out, no one seems to remember Stop, Drop, and Roll in this show.
Do you honestly expect them to?
Well, I mean, it is something that no one forgets from school. I'm just saying, you know, I feel like I'd remember. He's remarkably calm while he's on fire, though. I gotta give him points for that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But yeah, you really want to get to the orangutan, so talk about the orangutan.
I mean, yeah, we after all that with the fighting is done, everyone starts to sink on the ship as we find out that the orangutan, I think his name is Mumbo, I want to say,
I don't know whether they said it in this one or not.
He's the one that's the stand user. The whole ship is a stand. He controls everything on the ship.
And this is where I'm like, okay, this is where the name comes from. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because now we have a super intelligent ape who can turn a ship into, like, I guess he just controls it like Magneto or something.
Yeah.
His stand is strength, which is this entire
boat.
Which is the boat.
But
Yes.
then when everyone else is about to be killed, Polnareff saves the day and literally slices the the orangutan in half and kills him.
Yep, and then the boat dissolves. But it turns out there was a yacht underneath, so we're all good.
And it turns out that Polnareff was working
then,
with Dio to try to avenge his sister's death, who died years ago from another stand user.
She
and it was a
murdered.
man. It was a man with 2 right hands. And
Left.
2 right hands.
I thought it was left hands.
I
They
thought
said
it was
right in the dub. If they said left in the sub, then someone
No, I
made a
think it was
mistake
right.
somewhere.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. So, and that was the point where I'm like, okay, you're ripping this off Princess Bride now. It's a dude who had a family member killed by someone who had strange hands of some kind and had some
6
sort
fingers.
of power involving
The hand had
sword.
6 fingers.
Yep.
In the Princess Bride.
Hello, my name is Polnareff. You killed my sister. Prepare to die.
Well,
They're
I
even
mean,
fencing type people.
Araki did base a lot of JoJo off of like culture, like
Oh, yeah.
cultural things.
Well, considering
Oh, yeah.
that as
Like
the series went on,
Dio Brando.
considering as the series went on, half the stands, if not more, were named after musical artists or songs.
I mean, he's got good taste in music. We can say that
yeah.
much. I mean, Dio is a combination of Ronnie James Dio and Marlon Brando, so with the body of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the style of Ziggy Stardust. It's a whole collection of insanity. A rather bizarre adventure, if you
Yeah.
will. But yeah, Polnareff joins the crew, hoping to find the 2 right-handed man, get back at Dio with everybody else, and now they're somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, or are they closer?
No, I think they'd probably be like in the Indian Ocean because they were trying to get from Japan to Egypt. So
right.
I imagine they're around there.
Okay. Right, because the old lady who's not an old lady said that they were going to India, and 2 stand users were there, and one's called the Hanged Man, and that's her son. So
Yeah.
that's up for next episode. What did we all think?
Well, I thought it was interesting that like I said before, the first 2 episodes pretty much followed the manga, but episode 3 is when they really started to do significant changes. Like, number 1, in the manga and the David production show, Polnareff had a bug on his head too, like Kakyoin, where in this adaptation he just willingly joined him. And then obviously Polnareff never worked with the orangutan. And I'm kind of glad that they censored the orangutan from the David production and manga because we don't talk about the orangutan. We don't.
I hate that orangutan.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the orangutan did. I just know that you guys seem to hate him,
remember-
so just
you
hate
remember
the
the
orangutan.
little
That's
girl?
fine. You don't have to
Okay,
explain it.
okay.
You don't. You know what? I already know where this is going now. As soon as you said that, so we're just not
Yeah.
going to touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just skip the orangutan if I ever watch regular new JoJo. Speaking of new JoJo, what are like some comparisons like production wise? We already talked a bit about the voice cast as far as the dub goes, how the new one's a little bit better. But
I
what do we
mean-
The
think
stands look cool.
animation
feel
wise and
like-
everything?
I mean, the animation style it wasn't bad. It was definitely different, but it wasn't bad, at least by like 2000 standards.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think the stands looked bad, and that's probably the most important thing for this show.
Yeah, the
That
stands
is
look pretty
a good
good.
point. Yeah, I thought especially the fight with Hemetaphage Green.
Hierophant green.
Hierophant. Okay. Yeah. Green one. I thought the fight with the green one was especially like the stand was especially like cool and interesting
Yeah.
to watch in that fight.
I will say, the fact that I'm very used to like a different color palette is also it's a little, I guess, off-putting. Although I guess when I really think about it, because the color palette is always changing with a JoJo episode that I can't really say all that much about it. Because there's always, like, that one shot where everything's normal, and then you get to the other shot where Kakuin's hair is basically silver.
Yeah. Which, it wasn't even, like, red in this one.
No,
I don't know if that's
like,
a bad thing or something. Everything's a little color swapped.
it's like a little bit like a very mousy, like, grayish brown. That's how I would describe it.
I have a question. Was there ever an official colorized manga?
I don't know.
I think they may have done it, but I can't speak for sure.
Because to some degree, other than like covers, most manga is black and white, so you can really interpret it however you want, I guess.
You know what? That's a good question. I know that there's like colors for the later ones.
Okay. Because when would this have come out?
It was
Part 3. That would have been sometime in like the 80s or early 90s?
Phantom Blood was written in 1987, and then I think Battle Tendency came out in the early 90s, and I think this OVA came out when Part 4 was being written by Araki, I want to say.
Okay, but I'm also thinking, because the other half of this OVA is from 1993, so Stardust Crusaders had to have been written before that, right? Because it covers the end of
Yes,
Stardust
it was written
Crusaders.
from 1989 to 92. I just looked it up.
Okay, so that makes sense, and it also makes sense as to why they chose Stardust Crusaders as just a making point, as opposed to starting from Phantom Blood and going all the way through, because at that point it was probably the most popular arc at the time, especially because it was just coming out. I kind of, and again, I haven't seen as much JoJo as you guys, but I think one thing is that I think Yin actually had the best way of describing this when we were watching it. It doesn't have as unique of a flavor as new JoJo.
Yeah.
Like, other than, the very clear IP stuff that they have, the stands and the, and some of the characters, it's like, I feel like this could be, animation-wise and tone-wise, like any other show, like darker show from, like, the 90s to early 2000s in anime.
I think what the thing with this is just the fact that, like, the newer series basically, like, defined itself with the bolder color palettes.
Yeah.
And just, like, the stylization, as well as just the fact that, like,
it was a lot more over the top.
Yeah, it's more over the top. They have a lot of posing. It's a lot of guys just, like, flexing all over the place. And I think that's kind of what makes it really stand out. Like, especially with a lot of other, shows for that demographic that aren't really doing the same thing.
Plus, the new show, minus maybe a few little changes here and there, is pretty much a one-to-one direct adaptation of the manga. And so you have
that's kind of what I was
you
thinking,
have a manga that isn't like any shonen show ever, and it's a direct adaptation of that. So with all the flair and the posing and the craziness and everything like that.
Because I was thinking, like, again, I've seen some of the show, but I've probably seen more memes of the show than anything else.
Oh yeah, it's a meme machine.
And one thing I know is, like, everyone has, like, those crazy poses and moments, and, like, from any particular element of the series, like, any part of the series has their unique things. And, like, there was only 2 moments, I think, in all 3 of these episodes where I was kind of like, oh, that felt JoJo to me. Like, when Joseph's explaining who Dio is, and suddenly you have that shot of him, it's like a close-up of his face, and it's just like, it's Dio! And I'm like, okay, that felt JoJo. And then when they actually see the picture of Dio and he's posing, I'm like, okay, that felt
And
JoJo.
there was also whenever Jotaro beat Kakyoin, he did the signature, like, pose of, like, him pointing at him for no reason.
Okay. I didn't remember that one that much. I think it might have just been a little more understated by the animation or something, but, like, I feel like they put a little more focus on those, like, moments in the new one, and that probably is part of the reason it has a more unique flavor, and it feels so much different than every other anime. And not to say that this feels like every other anime, but it feels a little more homogenous with a lot of stuff that probably was also coming out at the same time.
I will say this though, I'm enjoying it so far. Like as someone who has obviously watched the new show, I'm interested to see an earlier adaptation from back when they probably didn't have as much faith in it being successful, and seeing what they were able to do.
Well, I will say this. We're watching the 2000 one, not the 1993 one, so they already knew that it had, like, backing to be good. The fact that it wasn't just, like, a full-on anime and just an OVA is kind of what says that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, I have an answer about the color.
Go for
Yes! Yay!
It wasn't digitally colored and released until 2012.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Okay.
So really, anything is up to the interpretation of whoever's animating it. Then,
Ironic that it comes out colored the same year that the new show came out with its first season.
I mean, maybe it was just like getting a spike in popularity, and they were like, "Let's colorize it," and they're like, "We'll give it an anime and see what happens," and then it exploded into what we know it to be today.
Yeah.
2012. What was the arc that was coming out at that point?
Season 1 was Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency.
No. The manga.
2012. Rocky was starting part 8, and it's still on part 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
This guy's never gonna run out of steam, is he?
I guess
Yeah.
not.
Him and like the One Piece guy. So we have any other comparisons, any other thoughts, any kind of things anyone wants to bring up?
Kakuin's earrings drove
I
me
know.
crazy.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. It was weird.
I was wondering. I'm like, something looks weird here. What
Because he got
is it?
Polnareff's right. I think.
Yeah. It was like, pretty much. But Kakuin's earrings were like, they're supposed to be like cherries, but they look
Alien
like
tentacles or
like-
something like that.
They
like,
just look like
They
two
look like
little.
piccolo antennas.
Kinda.
And especially like the angle that they stick out.
Thank you, Gav, for bringing that up, because that was bothering
yeah.
me too.
Well, you're going to be stuck with it for a couple more
Oh, I know.
episodes. Because this is a yay for me, I think. What about you guys?
Yeah.
well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a yay.
It's a yay for now. You seem a little on the fence there a bit.
I mean, I guess it's just kind of like, because I've already, like, seen this story before, like, the one that's, I guess, more true to the source material. I've already seen that I'm just, like, I'm kind of like, how am I going to feel about this one? I guess is more what I'm saying.
Okay. So it's more just curiosity as opposed to like, I need to know what's going to happen.
I mean, yeah, basically.
I feel like I just by proxy know what's going to happen in this, but I am interested to see how it goes about and how it's done. And I might put it on you guys a little bit. Let me know what big meme moments and reference moments we're missing whenever they do these. Because I feel like we're not going to have all of them.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the show, so I might not be any help with that.
I wasn't
but-
specifically speaking to you. I was speaking to the two who I know have been holding out on Jojo
Well, I
references.
know in the cliffhanger, in addition to what was her name, Aniba's son, they also
Yaba.
teased Whole Horse, who's a fan favorite villain.
Okay, that's a name
Yeah,
I know.
So
He's the cowboy
Yep.
one, right?
the not
Yeah.
Spike Speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Other things to say about it?
Nope.
Okie dokie then. Well, I think we'll be watching this again
Oh,
next
I
week.
did want to bring up one
Watch
more
episodes. What? Oh, go for
thing.
it.
This is kind of unrelated, but I guess we should bring this up for our viewers at home regarding 2 series that we've watched in the past. Twitter.
Oh yeah!
Twitter-
Oh yeah! Tokyo
Oh,
Mew Mew
right.
is getting a new anime. Yes.
I was on Reddit
Yay.
yesterday, and I guess yesterday, but when we recorded this, so I guess a few days ago when this comes out, and people on Reddit were saying Tokyo Mew Mew is getting a new season, and sure enough, the official website for the show said that, yep, it's coming.
Yeah, it's getting a new anime adaptation.
Yay.
So that's happening, and I'm excited.
But on happier news for Al, Tiger and Bunny Season 2 is going to come out in 2022.
Yay.
It's so far away.
But the official website did confirm that it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get. It's not been a great year so far. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
The official website did confirm it's going to be a direct sequel to the movie, so... Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Nice that they don't ignore the movie for once.
Well, I think
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that it kind of is sort of necessary, like, to include the movie, especially, like, if it's gonna contribute quite a bit to the storyline.
Yeah. I do like that. It's one of the few, like, original animations that's kind of sticks out to me a little bit. And there's others, but, like, I always thought that was a good one. Alrighty, I think that's it. We'll be watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from 2000, I think, for this, in episodes 4 through 6 next week. Yeah, this shouldn't take us too long to get through this. I mean, that'll be like the halfway point of the series. And yeah, we'll see if we want to keep going or whether we're gonna drop it and just pick up regular JoJo or something. I don't know. All right, bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and feel free to check out some of our other gaming videos, our weekly podcast Anime Yay or Nay, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!